All right. From his earliest days of musical self-expression, Harry Nichols has had an ear for melody. Whatever eclectic influences work their way into his art from metal to chamber pop, the result is always certain to thrill your brain. Welcome, Harry Nichols, to the show, everybody.
Oh, thank you. Woo-hoo. Thank you for having me. Yeah, this is fun.
We're so happy to have you here.
I'm already having fun. We just got started.
I mean, we were having fun before they started rolling cameras.
Yeah, it's been a good time, and we're gonna jump right in here.
Yeah.
We know that you have a podcast yourself.
I do.
And it's called Kid Stuff,
yes.
right? We thought it would be really fun to play a game because we want to tap into our childlike sense of wonder and a great way to do that.
We got
is
plenty
to
of
play
that.
games. So
absolutely.
Yeah, there's toys, by the way, everywhere here. You can't see it.
Yeah, there's
we got stuff
millions of toys
planted to evoke the kid spirit in us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have this game. It's called the cereal game. And what we do is we go around and we name a cereal. And we keep going until we can't think of any more cereals.
Okay.
And if you repeat one,
that you're out.
You're
That's
out.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
I'll start. Blueberry.
Cheerios.
Wait, hold on. You said Cheerios?
Yeah.
I think we have.
Oh.
But that's Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, it's Honey Nut.
so-
Well, it's a derivative of Cheerios.
Right.
This
Fair.
is the better Cheerio.
Does every kind of Cheerio count as its own cereal?
I guess it's kind of like genres in music.
Right.
A little bit. Except, the one thing about these is the characters always freak me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Look at, he looks too happy.
Right. It's fucking cereal. You know what I mean? Like, what are you so damn excited about?
That's my
Well, plus you can't read the box with this shit. Remember the boxes?
They want
I used
kids
read?
to enjoy the cereal.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like,
true.
I got to get in on what this bee is having.
All right.
All right. What are we? So
Sam lost, basically.
Good stuff.
no, I'm still in. I'm definitely still in. Frosted Flakes. Okay. Right. We got Frosted Flakes. I think we.
Look at that. We got Frosted Flakes.
This is a setup,
There it
man.
is.
This is a setup.
Yeah, Tony the freaking tiger.
There he is.
Yeah.
Standard.
What was his little tag there?
They're great.
That was
That's
it.
right. All right. They figured that one out at the board meeting
They should.
for Frosted Flakes.
It's a really lazy tagline if you think about it.
I think they were
right.
all
They're
high
great.
when they created these characters. That's my guess.
We were talking about that before.
I mean, look at them. I mean,
But it was great. It was a
Scary.
great decision because they've sold so many of them.
I
and it's
wonder if
still
it was
around.
because it was their grade or there were only 3 channels back then on Saturday morning.
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
that's fair.
Yeah. What else?
It's on you, Harry.
Oh, it's my
right?
turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say Reese's Puff cereal.
That's really eclectic. You are eclectic.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Getting them ready.
I'm just going to say Lucky Charms.
Oh, dude.
There it is.
yeah,
there it
he has
is.
the same kind of teeth as the bee. They're It basically looks like dentures. Okay.
Let me get a look at that.
Yeah. Now, Lucky
that's
Charms,
funny.
my mom never let me have
Oh, yeah.
because it's basically candy.
Sure.
And I just want to remind everyone, we are going to talk about music on this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're getting there.
What?
yeah.
I'm out. Did you know that they sell Lucky Charms cereal that's now just the marshmallows? Like straight up
I
marshmallows.
mean,
only.
in this day and age, I'll believe anything you tell me
Yeah.
because I think it's pretty much decadent at this point. Yeah, it's straight up candy.
Let's do 2 more rounds, yeah?
Okay,
Yeah.
2 more rounds.
Okay. So I guess I have to say one. Cookie Crisp.
We don't have that one.
That's a good one, though.
That's good though.
What's one that we do have?
Count Chocula?
Do we have
took
Count
mine,
Chocula?
asshole.
That's a good one.
We don't have him, but we do have Fruit Loops. This is the one my mom did let us have because apparently there is some kind of wheat or bran involved somewhere.
Theoretically,
And,
maybe corn.
and he has no teeth.
Well, he's a bird.
He has a beak.
Yeah.
Fair, that's fair.
All right.
Right.
And there you go.
Whose turn is it?
Oh, I'm gonna say Captain Crunch.
Captain
Great.
Crunch, that was good, except it ripped your mouth apart. It was like eating razor blades.
That's part of
Well,
the fun, though. Yeah.
I mean, it was advertised.
Yeah.
There would be crunch. You know.
My mom made it soak in milk for a minute before she gave it to us.
There you go.
She was a good mom.
There was one. They
Serious?
they had the
You'll get canker sores.
yeah, you would.
Yeah.
What was the Captain Crunch, and they had the one with the crunch berries in it.
Yeah.
Right,
Crunch
there's a
berry.
It was a
variation
derivative
on it.
of Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Crunchberry.
Crunchberry.
That's good.
Okay, so
we
what
could
was
go
the
on and
one?
on,
No.
but-
I mean, the best ones, though, were Honey Graham What were the honeygram ones?
Oh, you mean Golden Grams?
Golden
Yeah,
Grams.
yeah. And then Kicks.
Okay, the Golden Gram thing was like mom approved.
That was Kicks. Kid tested, mom approved.
Oh,
That's
God.
it.
Yeah.
That's
Kicks
it.
was awful.
I got you, man. I absorbed all that
I
cereal
hated
advertising.
Kicks. and Kicks had a massive box that was like bulk for Mormons. You know, you bought it like, you know, they stocked up on those for 20 years in your basement. You
Sure.
survived the apocalypse
Sure.
with Kicks. I'm sure it had no nutritional value.
I don't know.
This
Yeah.
was really fun.
Yeah.
This was like just
Okay.
like a lightning round of cereal things.
Yeah.
Get
so
the
happy.
energy flowing, get things moving. Harry, you inspired us, man, to do this because of your podcast, Kid Stuff, which now we want to get into that. We want to ask you, why did you start this podcast, Kid Stuff? And we're going to branch into the music side of this. 'Cause
Totally.
This is a music lifestyle podcast, but tell us why Kid Stuff.
Kid Stuff is a podcast I started basically as a delivery vehicle for my EP that was coming out of the same name.
So you don't give a shit about podcasts at all?
No, I do actually.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's kind of like an 80s teen, rom-com. You know, I started with
Gotcha.
it trying to get what I wanted out of it, and then I kind of fell in love with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have like an awkward breakup, and then we have to come back and
Oh, yeah. Hold the box over your head. kind of
exactly,
thing.
yeah, that kind of thing. So
Very
it started
John Cusack of you.
Exactly. It started as that. It started as a delivery vehicle for my music, but then I was just having fun with the conversations, and it was a great excuse to interview friends, to interview people that I am not necessarily friends with, but whose work I admire.
Nice.
And it seems like a premise that people continue to be interested in talking to me about. So I'm still doing it.
Well, I was on one of your shows, and I had a
You were.
blast. It was so much fun. It unlocked all sorts of childhood memories and
Past traumas.
yeah, past traumas. Lots of trauma. Plus, we did like a crazy Harry Potter lit crit.
We did, yeah.
halfway through the show.
Well,
which
that's
was
my
fun.
favorite thing
Yeah.
about the show, really, which is like getting into the like weird nerd stuff of being a kid. You know, I've gotten to go down rabbit holes of video games.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Well,
Harry
musicians
Potter.
are definitely not one-dimensional creatures, and the nerddom abounds. So
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
appreciated that.
Excellent. So following up on that, the Kid Stuff, you mentioned that it was a vehicle to push your EP, which was also called Kid Stuff.
Right.
And now we are in the music side. So let's
Okay.
get into the music.
What a
So
segue.
yeah, always thinking. So let's talk about Kid Stuff. Tell us about the EP and what was the reason for putting that together?
Kid Stuff is an EP, all of songs that I wrote about my life dealing with and empathizing with middle school kids. I'm a middle school teacher. It's how I make my money that I then go and blow on making music. So I've been doing that for 10 years, and I have had 10 years worth of bizarre, strange, beautiful, transformative experiences, painful experiences sometimes, and I've distilled them from time to time into song, and so it was a collection of those things. It was also kind of an excuse for me to revisit the sounds of my youth a little bit.
Nice.
It's very much like a love letter to like the power pop bands that I grew up loving and still love to this day.
Cool. Yeah, there is a direct connection between nostalgia and the music we love, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so formative. It changes us for the rest of our lives. What we produce, I think, comes out of that.
Definitely. Oh, I remember, I remember the first time I ever heard All the Small Things by Blink-182.
Yeah.
I was 12 years old,
Yeah.
and I was in a middle school dance. The hormones were just like, it was like an IV drip into my brain,
Right,
just
right.
raging. Yeah. And it just came over the speakers. I think that they were playing mostly kind of dance stuff, and a number of other kids persuaded the DJ to play that song instead, and they just went absolutely nuts. And I just remember being so impressed by like not only the sounds of the music, but the sounds of like the screams of glee from the other kids in the room. And it was just such an instantaneous eye-opening moment for me. And it really opened the door for me to a lot of other music as well. Because once I started listening to that, I sought it out. Then I sought out bands like it. And then things just kind of branched out
That's
from
so
there.
cool.
So it was a massive point of reference for me as a musician.
That's awesome. Well, later in the show, we're going to highlight one of those songs off that. It's Molly and the Conqueror.
Yeah,
the
for
Conqueror
sure.
of Hearts. And we'll get into that. But It's funny that you draw in the live experiences in music. So
Sure.
the dances, our senses are so, attuned at that time. I feel like we're all a little numb when we get older, and we kind of reference back to those times.
Yeah.
And the music's a big part of that. They say a lot of this stuff is like the soundtrack to our lives.
Definitely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Music has a profound power, kind of like the sense of smell, to transport you back into a different state of being, really.
Yeah, I have that with certain foods. You definitely have an emotion attached to a smell, very much so with music as well.
Definitely.
That's what's kind of neat about the Ithaca music scene is, and actually we can explore this right now together. Yeah. It's something I've been here about 2 years now. The first year I was here, things were pretty much shut down. I moved here in August 2020, and but seeing things open up now and getting a feel for the scene, and it seems like there's such a diverse range of genres in this area, and I wonder how much of that is there seems to be a lot of nostalgia factor in terms of like the musicians that are creating the music. So you get a lot of people, I think, moving up here that are maybe in their 30s or late 30s, 40s, and above even. I don't know much about the younger scene. Like are there a lot of young kids doing Ithaca bands right now? Like rock stuff, or like I don't even know. Most of the music I know, maybe
you're gonna pull the curmudgeon out of me on this one.
No,
well, let's do it. That's why we're here. But no, it's something interesting to think about. It's like the Ithaca scene. It's like even the grassroots lineup. It's mostly, as far as I can tell, bands that have been around for a while, that are older,
right.
That are not in high school or college.
Right.
So what do we? Help me make sense of this, please.
Well, I want
you say your thing. I have a thing.
all right, good.
You want to go first?
I don't care.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, I'll go for it.
John's deferring.
I would say that I'm not sure that is necessarily. I agree with you that overwhelmingly the bands that we see playing out are mostly, definitely out of their school ages. But I think, and especially you see that like at the festivals as well, right?
Yep.
Grassroots and things like that. I fully agree with that. But I don't necessarily think that that's a function of there being a lack of drive or a lack of desire in the youth. I think that it's more of a function of there being a lack of outlet for youth to do that. I think that we as a town, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think that the venue scene is kind of sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
We've been talking about
There's
this.
nothing to do out there. So we've got a couple of bars. Teenagers can't play bars, really.
Emma Underwood talks about this all the time.
Yeah. Teenagers can't play bars. And we have a couple of venues that can support a 21 and over or 21 or under 21 crowd, excuse me. But it's those. I think just the lack of opportunity and outreach is something that's really heavily affecting that.
I feel like maybe kids don't necessarily want to even play out in the same way that maybe we did growing up with technology kind of taking over and TikTok and all that. And it's very much just like do it to a track or do it in your bedroom. I think if kids really wanted to play out, they would set up outside somewhere and just fucking play and invite their friends.
We did.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's around as much.
Well, you said it, I think it's an input problem. It's the way input
problem.
Input problem. The way I discovered music was through samplers. It was, hearing about it from my friends, or if we were at a band practice, did you hear this latest song on the radio? So radio, samplers, those kinds of things kind of pulled us into whatever music was available at the time. And I feel like those influences have been kind of redefined by how social media has presented them to us, which is very short spurts of things. And I consider this a cultural crisis to me, because the full spectrum of a song is not the same thing when you hear it on TikTok for like 10 seconds.
Sure.
It might lead people there. But I'm hoping that kids can actually enjoy a full song again, because that's what I enjoy.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. It's a little... I think it's a great experience. I do like the new technology. I've been kind of a little negative about it on past few shows, but I don't know. I think they're missing out.
So yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit.
Okay, please do.
I
Please
think
do.
that I've had a lot of experience,
With kids.
in my career, and I've found that a lot of kids are listening to full songs. I don't think it's necessarily an attention problem.
How are they
or
getting
something
there?
like that? They're streaming it. How are they finding the new music?
Yeah, how are they
or how are they?
That's what I mean. How are they finding new music?
That's a good question.
And is it new music?
It's it's a toss. It's a mix, right? I'm definitely getting a fair share of kids who are listening to older stuff, but then I'm also getting introduced to a lot of artists by the students that I teach as well. And again, these are kids who are listening to full track, not just like the 30 seconds you can match to a video on TikTok.
There
right?
was a show that featured a Kate Bush song, right? And it like became huge again.
Stranger Things.
Was that it?
Yeah.
So that is, I think, a good proof that it's the video content. It's the TV placements like Euphoria. If y'all heard of Euphoria,
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Crazy series. Really gave me anxiety, and yet I continued to watch it.
Like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but this show, for me, the redeeming quality of this show was the music was incredible. Whoever picked that soundtrack did a great job. And so those who all the teenagers, which really teenagers I don't think should be watching that, but those that were,
Well, there you go.
They are though.
they heard the music, and
Not kid approved.
I would venture to say that like they have those songs now in their rotation because
For sure.
they associate it with that show.
Well,
So
Fish, though, that's
Sure.
a long form
the long
episodic
form, right?
media piece that's
But it's video.
highlighting that's highlighting music. I do agree. There's a number of those out there on Netflix and whatnot that are highlighting those. And again, it's old music. Kate Bush is an old that song has been around for a long time. It's kind of funny. I just saw something pop up on Twitter. I forgot what the name of the group is, but they did a Michael Jackson cover.
Sure.
Do you know what song I'm talking about?
No.
Anyway, it's just regaining steam again.
Sure.
But I would argue that music is just better music sometimes. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me, and I hope you do. Are these kids listening to new music that would have that timeless quality?
That's it. I mean, sorry.
No, I'm trying to understand because
Timeless though.
can new music be timeless if it's new? Like it could have that quality, but
The problem I
it's gotta
have is a
exist
lot of
for
the
while,
music that
right?
is timeless that we're listening to and pulling out. It's like 40 years old.
Yeah.
It's 40 years old and it's good stuff. And the way that music was made was in a time frame that's really hard to replicate.
Well, I think that I remember having a conversation like this with a college friend of mine, and he was talking about how when he in the future has kids, he plans to introduce the music he's gonna pass on to them is the music that his parents passed on to him, not necessarily the stuff that was hot when he was going through college, coming up through those days.
Sure.
And I do think that there was kind of like, in terms of like, if we're talking about just like radio mainstream pop music, there was kind of a dip in nuance at about the time we were coming through college. But then again, like, I remember agreeing with him at the time that was the case, but I'm not so sure. Like I just introduced my kids to Taylor Swift, and my 5-year-old absolutely loves the album 1989, which is not a crazy old album. That's 2014, and they love it. And I don't know. I think that music is kind of timeless. I think what makes music timeless is
Good songs.
and
arrangements,
good songs plus nostalgia. And there you go. There's timeless, right?
There you go.
So I don't know. I don't quite have the pessimistic view I think that you do.
I don't know if I'm pessimistic. I think I'm learning, and I want to. I want to believe that kids today can like new music, and that new music is good music. Because I do think there are a lot of conditions and pressures in the way that music is made today.
Yeah.
That make it kind of difficult to produce what we grew up listening to.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I also think that we're speaking from a very narrow spectrum here, right? From our frames of our cultural
we're
frames
seeing
of
it through the
reference,
lenses that we have.
Right.
You know, everyone has a different lens.
Right, which is like mostly, I imagine we all kind of grew up listening to rock music, we all pop music and that kind of stuff, right? But like there have been, hell yeah, let's go. There have been a lot of developments. I think just in the last couple of years, some people who have put out like truly timeless music, and it's all sort of like in hip hop, like Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly." That is like a revolutionary fucking hip hop album that like really goddamn changed things. Similar vein. A lot of stuff put out by like Childish Gambino, right? Or if you think about like This Is America as a major piece of art that I think is going to like be studied by people in decades to
That's
come,
the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like I think that stuff is being made. Yeah. It's maybe not necessarily what is being served to everybody all of the time, but I don't know.
That's good, man.
It's very interesting, and it's kind of like the Ithaca music scene actually, because depending on what circle you're in or like where you spend most of your time, you're going to see the music scene as being a certain way. But as I've said in previous things, those groups like don't really talk to each other a lot. So
which groups now? I'm sorry.
No, I'm in general. I'm saying like the Ithaca scene. It's huge.
Yeah,
actually a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be when I moved here. And I've noticed that, and that's kind of why we're doing this podcast, is because we want there to be a forum for all of these different genres to be represented and for all these artists to have a place to speak their mind. But there's so many different genres out there, and they're kind of I feel like they're isolated from each other. Just upon me being here for the 2 years that I've been.
Sure.
So all of a sudden I find like 2 weeks later I see, there's this whole other portion of the music scene that is here, and then there's another part here, and then here and here. But this group is only getting booked at these venues.
It is
and
interesting.
This group's only getting booked at these venues.
Does
that make sense?
It's interesting when we talk to different people that they're all on the same journey in a sense, and you don't see them crossing paths as much as you'd like them to. I know what you mean. The gap there.
It just seems like there's a bit. I mean, just the reality is like there's exclusivity involved in music, just like, and that's just how it is. It's kind of the elephant in the room. I feel that artists don't want to talk about, but there's exclusivity.
It's a scary word. I think it creates value as well. I think artists want their stuff to be original and important.
Sure.
And so that,
and no one wants to have their festival slot taken.
That's right. We were talking about how on a show. What show was that?
I forget.
But we were talking about, but there's a lot of peace and love in music until the gang music war happens.
Yeah.
For the festival slot.
Comes for your festival slot.
We thought it'd be a great little short feature film. Anyway.
Gun poets. Come out and play.
Exactly. So we have your first song.
Oh wow.
Dear George.
Oh my.
Yeah, let's get to it.
We'd like to play a little bit of that.
So
get some thoughts on that.
Yeah, let's hear the first minute, and then we'll talk about it.
Cool.
Yeah, and here we go.
In carbonite, just like Han, but I'm breaking out tonight, breaking through, just like you broke my heart. I was a boy playing with X-wings, and I built myself out of these playthings and legends you pulled from a younger heart. Dear George!
Yeah. If you want to hear more of that song, then you're going to have to go listen to it where?
Anywhere you stream music, Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp. I like Bandcamp.
So I like it too.
And 9.5 minutes.
It is.
But I'll tell you, I was telling John earlier, it's probably the best 9.5-minute song I've heard in like the past 20 years. It's really good.
Thanks, man.
And you know, we talked about like having your music.
That's not the Fruit Loops talking either, man.
Yeah, no.
This guy, he's all hopped up on Lucky Charms. He's just
it's too much damn sugar in the studio.
there's a lot of sugar here. No, it's really something. We talked about just having your song like placed somewhere, like associated with a TV show or a movie. But so like the whole Star Wars thing, and so that's actually a really great way to tie in art and your song with just having it with Star Wars. It just takes on a whole different form. It's a little more meaningful. Tell us how you came up with this song and what you're saying in it. Like, give us the rundown.
It's just 100% fan rage. Is where it came from.
Yeah.
I'm much better now as a Star Wars fan. I've recovered. No, but so it.
You spent some time in the back to tank.
Yeah, I did. Yes,
That's
I had to.
Good for you.
I had to. It is good for you. It's the best thing. People at home who don't know what a back to tank is. It's a form of recovery that is used in the Star Wars universe where
looks
people
quite
get
pleasant.
Immersed in a vat of water, and then they.
Who knows what the fuck's going on? Just
I don't know.
wires
It doesn't make any sense
just
to me.
works.
I don't get it. It just does. Yeah. It keeps people alive. Anyway, so the question was, where did this song come from? And I wanted to describe what the experience was, because I kind of take the idea of fandom really, really sometimes way too seriously.
Oh, you did, because you made fun of one of my posts one time.
What did you say?
I had an ad on my my profile pic.
Did
and
you
it
call
had
it like an
Star
ATST
Trek?
or something?
Like, for some reason there was a Star Trek and like thing on the bottom of it.
Oh.
And I missed it completely. And I put it up, and you literally piped up immediately, and you said, "Nice Star Trek ad."
I think that was actually meant sincerely. I think I was trying to be like,
well,
this
I
is cool.
appreciate
Like,
that. That's good to
this has
know.
been-
Love here.
I like the blender here.
Yeah.
So I take fandom really seriously sometimes, and because being a fan of something, depending on when you're a fan of it, really does help to compose who you are. It's a part of your very being, and so for a long time, I considered it a really tremendous crime for George Lucas to have taken Star Wars, his classic 3 films,
You're one of those.
and revised them. You know what I mean? I thought that was
You
horrendous.
went back and messed with it.
Well, now he's been
You're
doing
talking about
that.
episodes 1, 2, and 3. Right?
No, I'm talking about episodes 4, 5, and 6, which have been subsequently re-released for their entire history.
In fact,
but with little changes every time. And so
they don't even have the original plates for that stuff. They don't have the original film for some of that stuff.
So they say. I mean, I don't know.
That's a conjecture.
I have to keep hope alive.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a real betrayal in that. You kind of you create your identity to a partial extent around this piece of art, only to have it kind of manipulated in a way that you can never get the old one back, right? And so that was like a real crime for me at that age, and so it's about that. It's about that experience. And speaking to George, talking about that.
Did you feel better after you finished the song?
I think I had to write the song in order to move on as a fan.
You resolved something there.
Yeah.
There's a whole group of people out there that are piecing together as much as they possibly can the original Star Wars series from VHS tapes and all sorts of stuff. Right?
I have
You have that?
3 MOV files of the quote unquote theatrical release, and I've watched them and they look right to me. But they don't look great on a big screen, and so what we need is a high definition remaster.
Oh my gosh.
So, if I may steer us away from the Star Wars,
we keep going back.
No, I'm
Star
sorry.
Wars
This
is amazing.
only about Star Wars.
No, it's really
Okay, so how does music make that happen for you?
Make what happen for me?
That song. Why music? Why was the medium music?
Because music is what I do. Music is the way that I express my feelings to the world on the deepest level.
And to George.
Right, yeah.
So taking that a step further, because we want to get back into like just sort of how we see the scene here, and this podcast, a running theme is like, how do we uphold our value as musicians? We see too many musicians taking gigs for like basically no money. So we want to ask you, like, how do you advocate for yourself as an artist? And then we're going to do a little role play.
Whoa, how do I advocate for myself as an artist? Can you give me some context?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
In what way? Yeah.
So the role play that we're going to do, this is a new thing here.
Oh, let's go.
The role play
There's
that
no leather involved. Don't worry.
Right, none of that.
Yeah.
The role play that we're going to do is if you so choose to accept.
Yeah.
We would like you to be yourself as an artist. You're going to call up a venue.
Mm-hmm.
The booking agent for the venue is going to pick up, which usually that may not even happen. Usually it's just the owner of the venue.
We're pretending. It's a little fantasy.
We're pretending that you get in touch with the booking agent that books for that venue.
Mostly an email these days.
I was about to say, I'm going to stop you right there, man.
Mostly emails now,
This is fantasy. This is fantasy.
But the role play will, okay. No,
That's
that's a
fine.
good
No,
point.
we'll
That's a
do
good
it. We'll
point.
play it. It's a role play. That's why it's fixed. Let's do it.
Let's say you still connect person to person. I'm sure that still happens.
Sure.
On some level, maybe at the higher levels. And you're gonna try to book yourself for this venue. Are you up for the challenge?
Let's go.
Because
go.
I know John is sometimes a real ball buster. So
yeah, a little bit. I'm the pessimistic one.
Yeah.
And this is
No question.
But it's a good way to sort of demonstrate like how you could advocate for yourself as an artist. I have no idea how this is going to go. Let's try it.
It might suck. It might be great. We're gonna find
I was
out.
about to say, yeah, here we go.
Okay.
All right.
You take it away.
Jack's Crap Shop.
Hi, this is Harry Nichols. I'm trying to reach the booking agent for Jack's Crap Shop.
Yeah. Are you looking to book a show?
I am. Is this a good time?
Yeah. I can help you out. So what are you looking to do? What are you looking to do?
So I am currently setting up a series of shows sort of in your region. And what I do is I perform a sort of a crowd-pleasing combination of power pop and
Cool. Do people come to your shows, man?
They definitely have. Yeah.
How many? Do you got an average? Like, because we're trying to sell crabs here and beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to sell beer.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fully with you on that.
Okay.
And I definitely want to sell your crabs and your beer.
Okay.
So I guess it kind of depends on the night. What kind of night are we looking at?
Most likely it's going to be Sunday nights. That's it. We're open one day a week. Also, do you have a sound system that you bring?
Yeah,
you do?
I can supply my own sound. Yeah,
You do?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, we generally don't like do guarantees, but we got a couple PBRs in the freezer for you, and a slot between 11 and midnight, and it's great exposure. It's great exposure. I've been told that like people have been found in our crab shop, so you know what I'm talking about. What are you laughing about, man?
No, I'm not laughing. Sorry,
are you a serious musician?
I have something in my throat here.
Oh,
Excuse me.
okay. All right, that's fine. So, do you want the gig or not?
So listen, I wonder if we could talk about, so it sounds to me like there's a couple of PBRs in it for me.
Yep.
It's not a great, I'll be honest with you. It's not a great day though, if you're trying to draw people in.
Oh man,
yeah.
We're making so much money right now. You have no idea. Well, the problem is that the crabs come in on Saturday night. And we don't want them to spoil.
Sure.
So,
no, I fully get that.
Well, people always drink beer. Hey, do you have lights? Because it's like the stage we're going to put you on the back. It's a little dingy.
Yeah.
And we're hoping maybe you had some lighting. Is that?
I have a cell phone light.
Oh.
And
Oh, you're one of
maybe
those high-tech guys?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I do.
I'm gonna jump in here. It's going all over. No, that was great. Thank you both for participating.
Joe's Crab Shop.
And Harry for
In
jumping
Maine.
in like that.
I thought it was Crap Shop.
No, it's
I thought you
Crab
were
Shop.
speaking something. It was like some kind of
No,
dive.
it's somewhere in Maine.
So
It is somewhere in Maine.
the reason for doing that is we wanted to illustrate, first of all, like
Just John's incredible acting prowess.
John's-
First of all,
yeah.
God damn.
kudos.
Give
to
that
John.
man an Oscar.
Thank you.
And actually, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
When
Give me a PBR
when
and I'll be fine.
When you said, I definitely want to help you sell beer and crabs. Then you're like, you're listening to him. That's what the agent really wanted, was to sell beer and crabs.
Right,
and
sure,
you're like,
yeah.
I can help you do that. So that's great. But we're kind of getting at this whole. He wanted you to bring lights.
Right.
He wanted you to bring your sound.
It was a raw fucking
That's
deal.
a raw deal. And we didn't
Literally.
we didn't
Just
even
the
like
rawest
seafood
of
raw.
deals.
Seafood.
Seafood.
Yeah,
And we
this
didn't even
is-
talk about money.
No.
Yeah,
That never came up.
No, there was zero money. That was my understanding. Is
Yeah,
that
it
he was
was
only
PBRs.
offering me a couple of whatever beers were left in the fridge.
It's insulting.
It happens.
It is.
It does.
But this stuff happens, and it's John and I have talked about this. It's quite frankly, it's so insulting to be like, oh yeah, we've got drink tickets for you.
Yeah.
If you're a serious musician, fuck that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I'm
agree.
hanging up. I'm either saying I'm sorry, this is not going to work out. I'll try somewhere else. But man, like that, it's kind of. I hope that venue owners
I
are
want to
listening
keep
to
going
this,
and-
Right.
Yeah.
and bar owners are listening to this, so they can like see like that's a raw deal.
But we were going to mention him on Facebook as well. So
Oh damn!
I mean,
yeah.
that was the seal.
That would've
the deal.
made it.
But
Yeah.
the idea is also
Exposure's
to
great.
get to the place where you're not having to play those kinds of gigs, right?
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
obviously the
Absolutely.
goal. But we talked about getting a union together, or it's trying to do something like that
Whoa,
here.
man. All right.
I think that it's an idea that's time has come. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel that musicians need unions again.
This is what happens down in Austin. There's a musician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know there was one in New York years ago.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where we have no representation and we have no standards. And there's all sorts of entertainment industry around us that do. And food service.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of integrate with food service quite a bit in what we do. There's a burgeoning or flowering brewery
Yeah.
industry out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're finding connection with people out there.
Yep.
I can't see why, and they don't like ASCAP and BMI coming in and making them pay money.
Right.
But I feel like it's kind of a need to have a voice for artists again.
Yeah. I mean, I
The
think
blue collar artist
that
is
would be
wanting
super
to work.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Harry, how would you run your ideal music venue?
Well, tell us
Oh,
about.
geez, my music venue.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have your own
Oh.
music venue. How do you want to run it?
Oof.
Now I know it's a very involved question, but maybe give us some highlights. Like, how much are you going to guarantee each band as the minimum?
God,
Sky's
Are
the
you going to
limit.
have a merch spot specifically set up every time so bands don't have to
well-lit
rush around?
stage.
Yeah.
Where do I set up merch? Where
Hell
do I
yeah.
can I vent for a second?
No,
go ahead,
That
man.
bugs the hell out of me.
Preach.
We get to a show and we never know where to set up merch, and the people running the event don't even know
Right.
where we're going to set up
So
merch.
true.
So we're going around
Sometimes
and
they
we're
don't
like,
even know you're supposed to be there.
yeah, they don't like, but we got merch. We're like, hey, where do we do merch? Oh, you could put it there. And then some other person says, oh no, you got to put it over there.
Right.
And it's like, oh man,
Sam, I've never seen you
It's-
this animated.
yeah, it's just because you do it enough, and you're just like, come on, like we're providing something that is so great that people love. They come to these festivals to see the music. So make sure you got that shit under wraps.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say here. Venting over.
I fully hear that.
That's a good vent, man.
I think part of that problem, though, that specific problem that you're talking
merch?
about, is about the fact that I think venues are closing, man, and musicians
Yeah.
are pushing into places that are not actually venues, right?
Yeah, okay.
They're breweries. They're bars that maybe have done some renovations to have a stage, but
That's fair.
you could never do that many
And
renovations.
they're more family oriented, I think.
for sure.
Isn't that
Yeah.
interesting?
Yes.
What, the bars?
A lot of these places, it's funny. I'm dating someone who, she's like, "Oh, you play in bars?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, it's not quite as bad anymore." Because when I grew up, my dad was a disc jockey and he played in bars. I mean, it was
Right.
like scary the stuff
Right,
that he would bring us to. But today, it's kind of like these places are kind of looking nicer
Yeah.
and they're lit better. It's not about going.
Yep.
And kids are showing up.
Yes. Look, man. I'm not one to I love a good storied venue.
Yeah.
For sure. Right? That's got some history and
like that.
character. Love it. You could tell there are fucking ghosts there from the people who have been there before.
Right, that's right.
That's scary
Like,
stuff.
I love it. I know. I love
smell
it.
the ghost. when
You can
walk in.
smell the ghosts peeing and
Ransom's
on the
like
walls,
that.
right? Like I love
Ransom
that.
has
Bad
that vibe.
things have happened in here.
But yeah, I agree. I like playing earlier,
Yeah.
and I like people being there.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
kids and shit like that. And so I'm willing to compromise a little bit because and that also suits where I am in life as
Yeah.
well. So
Oh, I'm sorry, but the earlier question was how would you run how would you run your ideal music venue? So give us a rundown.
I would definitely, and sky's the limit. I'm making all the money I need to.
You're set. You've got whatever you want.
Yeah. I would say if you're playing there, you're making at least $100 per person.
Okay.
Right. That's like a pretty around here. I'm talking about. Right.
It's like an area.
Here,
okay.
Yeah. Which is a pretty solid pull for a local gig. I don't know, man. Free drinks for the bands. Like a real damn green room. You know what I mean?
Green room for sure.
For people to like hang out in and just be chill. And
Yep.
I would say I'd make sure that we are running things in such a way, though, also that it is kind of comfortable for the person coming to the venue, right? Like I've been in a lot of venues that are just like real intense. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I would do things like make sure people have like earplugs and shit.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like
And not charge for them.
Now you're talking.
Right?
Not
Not
charge
charge
for
for
the
them.
earplugs.
Make people feel.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Make people feel comfortable. Like, I would try to have like not only drinks on hand, I would also try to have like as much like substantial food as humanly possible, right? While still maintaining like a sort of like focus on the stage.
Yeah.
As like what we're here to do, you know?
Right. So you're running a music club.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of, I guess that's what I'm imagining. What do you guys imagine?
That culture's alive in New York City.
Well, the jazz clubs had a really great model. I felt they did.
Right.
Unfortunately, they're a bit pricey, and also my favorite one actually shut down for good. The Jazz Standard.
Oh,
really love that venue. You go into a basement. They've got a barbecue joint upstairs, and stage is lit with lights. Everything else is dark.
yeah.
And they have an announcement that says, "Please, no talking. If you have to
I
say
love this.
something, whisper it to the person next to you." And then the show starts, and
There's a reverence for music.
There's a
there.
reverence for the
I love
music.
that.
Well, that's cool. That
It's
feels
a certain scene.
It
feels
it's
a little
intense.
draconian to me. Like
intense.
I think people
Old school jazz.
sometimes want to react to things verbally, and I think that there should be a space for that. You know what I mean?
Oh, you can. If you love something in the music, you can.
You could be like, "Oh,
yeah.
shit,"
You could do that for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
They just don't want people carrying on and chattering.
Sure, yeah.
Hey, how was your day?
Well, that I respect. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Well, no, you go to the one I've played at is the Rockwood Music Hall down in New York, and I feel that's a good medium though. Instead of it
Rockwood's
being,
a chill spot.
I like that word draconian. You walk in and they got 4 stages. They got a big one and a couple downstairs, and they got this tiny little one. And you walk in, and the bartender is actually the server comes out, and you need to buy 2 beers if you're going to be here tonight. And so they get their beer, but they actually take good care of the artist. They do have a green room.
Yeah.
They have good sound, and the lighting is proper.
Oh, can I add something to my venue that I just remembered from stuff I've experienced down in Austin? Is that like if you're in the bar purchasing stuff, there's like already like a tip for the band included.
A gratuity for the band, just like a gratuity for
That's awesome.
That's why I like the food service analogy. It's like a blue collar job, but it's music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's fantastic.
It solves a lot of problems because like then the venue can pay you a basic, but also like, or a guarantee rather, but also you get you're gonna see some money.
Even if it's an extra like $2 for when you buy a drink, or a dollar, even an extra $1 when you buy a drink. If 100 people buy a drink, that's an extra $100.
Hell yeah!
It's like a tax for the band.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I like that idea. That's nice.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, you were talking about Rockwood.
No, it's just it was a good medium. They're there to sell beer, but at the same time, a lot of up and coming new artists come in there.
Yeah.
Even to the point they had the main stage. If you've been in there,
I actually haven't. No.
The main stage, they have a piano like a baby grand that they can drop from this hidden chamber onto the stage for a piano player.
Awesome.
And they offer for the band free video and audio recording.
Oh my God! What?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ!
They do a good job. They hand you a little thumb drive. I think I can't say it's free. I think it's like $30.
But fuck, like that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's cool. See, now you're saying things that I'm like, oh yeah, of course my venue would have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that sounds incredible.
So I think the guy who owned it was a touring musician once upon a time, and he was in the biz back in the day. But I feel like that attitude could happen up here in Ithaca. And the one thing, we've talked a lot about, Sam, is that we love this town so much. I love the music culture here and the originality of the music, is that we can have an original music venue system that can be just as awesome.
Well, who knows that because TJ just purchased the dock is what I've heard, and
TJ Shaper?
Yeah, so they might
No
be
crap.
him and I forget who he went on in
That
on
is
it
smart.
with, but maybe the dock ends up becoming one of those
Just a music
one
club.
of those spots.
Maybe. I mean, that would be great. I'd love to believe that the dock can do that.
It's a little far
I
out
think
from
it's
town.
It's a terrible location.
It's
Yeah.
a hard.
We'll see.
Sorry,
but
TJ.
it depends on the experience, though. If they
Yeah,
create
it is pretty there.
that experience where like people
Sure.
just love being in that venue,
Yeah.
no matter what band is playing, then that's what you want. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. No, listen, I would love it to work out that way.
So we have a question for you.
Hit
Oh,
me.
yeah. What's your question?
What is Slenderman?
Slenderman is a meme.
I know that.
Oh, I actually
wanted
don't
to
know
ask
what
you.
it is.
Yeah, no, it's I think it was a creepypasta.
Yeah,
That,
those creepy Facebook videos. That,
Well, it was a Reddit. It's a Reddit forum where people are encouraged to write short horror fiction. And
Okay.
so there was one written about a faceless man in a suit with incredibly long arms and
It's
legs
kind of terrifying.
who would stalk children and
Whoa.
then consume them, take them.
He hides behind things.
He hides behind things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, I went down a rabbit hole when I was writing my album. This isn't the album you're looking for, because there was a independent
Another
YouTube,
Star Wars.
Yeah. There was an independent YouTube channel that was essentially a series. It was like a found footage series about the Slender Man. They called him it's been a while. Was it the Machinist? Something like that. But it's essentially the same thing,
Okay.
right? And so I was watching that show, and I wrote a song about it.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to listen to that song.
Let's go.
Okay, hit play.
He's waiting in the woods for you. Tall thin man, plain black suit. Don't you come too near. He can see you here. He's followed you since childhood. No such thing as empty words when he's reaching out. Don't you turn around. Horror is taking its toll on me. I came to you, looking to get some sleep. And I should have known, Whoa, and I should have known, It'd only keep me away.
Yeah.
Slenderman.
If you want to hear the rest of Slenderman,
Go to Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, right? And any streaming services.
That's right. Any streaming service.
Please spend money.
Harry, you've got a real nice Guster vibe going on this song.
Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed right away. I'm like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah. I think I found that accidentally. I've never actually listened to all that much Guster, but
That whole album.
You definitely tapped into it.
it's the same like genre of, it's they're all related.
Well, this is the segment of the show called New Vine Reacts.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
All right, I'll try.
And we've got some.
You want to read it? You want me to read it?
I think your voice is nice.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right,
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Harry, get ready.
Hit me.
In 2013, roughly around this time, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke started a 13-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart, featuring American rapper T.I. and American singer and producer Pharrell Williams. The video was made in 2 versions. The first video features models Emily Ratajkowski, Jessie Mbenge,
Good
and
job.
Elle Evans being topless.
Oh my God.
The second features them covered Two versions. The topless version of the video was removed from YouTube for violating the site's terms of service regarding nudity.
Sure.
Although it was later restored, but flagged as inappropriate.
Of course.
Blurred Lines peaked at number 1 in 14 countries.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So how are we reacting to this?
We're reacting to it. Harry, what you got?
Oh my God. My reaction is that the song was removed because it contained breastises and not for the overt sex and toxic sexism.
But it was the feet
that
the
it
feet
was.
sucking
That's right,
part
that's
that he was
right.
singing into the model's foot.
Harry, that's a great point. And
Right. It had nothing to do with the fact that they were mistreating women at all.
Right. No,
Yeah.
it was just like
Yeah.
because we can't have a boob. Here in America, we can't have a boob.
can't have boobs.
Can't have boobs.
Only on HBO
No.
or like those things, but not on.
You can shoot and you can rape and kill, but you
Yeah.
cannot. You
So,
cannot.
so the line
boobs.
that sent it over the edge was,
The blurred line.
you know you want it.
Oh yeah, see that's what Harry was talking about. How it's just like
That's where it
like,
went.
That like especially today, like looking
Right.
back, even back then too, it was 2013, which was how many years ago?
It
Like
was a bit ago.
9 years ago.
Some time.
Yeah, it was a while.
So yeah,
So, have you seen the video though?
I
Have
did.
you
I
seen
watched
the
it
video?
after we.
Yeah.
So for me,
listened.
what's even like yes, the lyrics are offensive to that song.
Yeah.
But for me, what's even more offensive is so that song features Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams like singing into these girls' ears while they're just like completely like expressionless.
Oh yeah.
Naked, staring at a camera.
They were
like
objects.
just like objects in the most obvious, like transparent sense.
Oh,
You
it's
know what I mean?
totally that way.
and
yeah.
it peaked at number 1 in 14
It sure
countries.
did. It sure
But it
did.
destroyed his career. He went on a downward spiral after this happened. And prior to that, it was an interesting little history of him. He was a songwriter that did a bunch of like 90s, like kind of like he looked like a dirty college kid. Did you see what he
I
looked
didn't
like
see all
before?
that
Yeah,
stuff,
he was dressed up like a dirty 90s college kid.
Yeah.
He did some like kind of like grunge. Ended up doing that, didn't work out, and then he moved into this thing, and it was supposed to launch his career.
Yeah.
And he was like the JT thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you know, he was actually a very successful songwriter up to that point. Kind of a golden haired child syndrome thing in the industry,
Right.
And he did this song, and it tanked him.
Well, I mean,
And
it soared him.
first it
and
soared.
then it
Well,
tanked.
right. I mean, people started catching on.
Right.
Oh my God, this is
Right.
fucking bad, you know,
Right.
and it destroyed him.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that, you know, it also kind of a little bit depends on where you are in the country, how people regard that song. I think it kind of changes regionally.
That's right.
And I think another thing that destroyed him was his album after that. Have you heard about this?
No.
I did not know about this.
dear.
Please,
Oh dear. He broke up with his wife, and then
because of this.
I don't know what the deal was, but they broke up, and he decided that it was a mistake, and so he recorded an entire album, which was his follow-up album to this, and it was titled after her name, which for some reason my brain is telling me is also Robin. Is it also called Robin? You're nodding at
Dave
me. I
is
don't know.
Dave in
Something.
engineering.
But like it is so just bad.
It's
just
still bad. He didn't
music,
learn.
Just bad.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He's now
And
a
they didn't
judge
get back
in one of
together,
these
so it didn't
voice shows.
What?
Yes, that's what he's doing now.
What show?
I forgot the name. It's one that's not known very well, or it was one that didn't make it very well.
You're
But the
Googling
poor
it
guy,
over there.
they threw him a bone. They threw him a bone.
Oh,
All
jeez.
right.
He's
Well,
a child of the industry.
He is.
Thanks for reacting to that. That was actually
And
a
that
really
was-
good that was a good reaction.
My
React.
pleasure to react to that.
So moving on here, let's jump back into Ithaca music stuff. Something that we've been posing to artists is convince us to see your live show.
Oh man,
Please.
What are you doing at your live show? Like, make me want to go see it.
that's a sticky one for me because my live show is very much in flux right now. And so, you know, where I'm going with it, I think, is going to be come see my live show because I'm going to, So I'm going to perform songs in a way that is super a-traditional, right?
Okay.
I'm kind of leaning into sort of a new project for myself a little bit at this very moment.
Nice.
That is, it's sort of like about live looping and some other sort of like trickery and sort of fun things like that, And so, you're going to hear a much bigger sound than you're used to hearing from just one human being up there. And it's got it all. It's got, like I'm pulling out all my stupid tricks, right? I'm beatboxing. I've got like pedal boards with effects and shit.
Fun.
And we're gonna have a good time, right? I'm gonna play songs that maybe you haven't heard, but that are super easy to get down with. And I'm also gonna play some of your favorite fucking songs in ways that you haven't heard before. So that's what I would say.
Well, I'm a super fan, and I cannot wait.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Me and my kids, we listen to your stuff, man.
Ah, gee.
We love it.
Clearly talented. I mean, that album, These Is Not the Album You're Looking For. I really enjoyed listening.
We want you all
Thank
to
you.
listen to Harry's stuff.
Oh, thank you.
We anticipate this next one. It's going to be good. What keeps you productive? I mean, you're so productive.
Yeah.
Your Bandcamp is full of shit.
It's all over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what keeps me productive is just I love the uncarved block. I love the feeling
fun.
of potential.
Wow.
I like saying I'm going to write an album.
Okay.
And I don't know what it's about yet, but I'm
Well,
gonna have fun
you
making
haven't
it.
allowed the pressure of opinion to stop that. I think that happens with a lot of people. We've talked about it on the show a lot. What are people going to think of this? Any of that stuff that doesn't ever come into your mind?
Oh, it certainly does.
Oh, it does?
Absolutely does. Yeah.
Really?
And part of the reason why my discography is so varied and all over the place, I've got songs that I've got like punk pop records.
You'll
I've
release
got
a single, then you'll release like 4 or 5 songs.
soul, stuff.
You're a little bit like Anthony Cannon that way.
A little bit, yeah.
His Bandcamp is very similar.
He's just like, I don't know how that dude is putting out as much material.
He's
as he
very
is right now.
prolific.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that. Jesus Christ. He's put out like how many fucking albums?
Well, to be honest with you, he has a producer putting all those tracks together. You're doing your own music. But still,
Yeah.
it's very
So
similar
he's-
pattern that I see in his creativity like
writing.
yours. Yeah.
It's one actually just on the Anthony Cannon thing. What's interesting is like, and we talked about hip hop last week. Hip hop there's so many words in a song.
Yeah,
like way
sure.
way more than the
Sure.
traditional pop tune. So I
Right.
just to give him, I don't want to take away from that the fact that he's got to write a shit ton of lyrics
totally.
for all those beats.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredibly prolific in his ability to shit stuff out. So
Yeah.
But
And
you are the same way in it. And
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think that it's just fun for me. It's the most fun that I have almost as a human being. Only rivaled by a few other experiences out there.
Cool.
And like I said, it's just like it's a little bit on a deeper level how I process the world around me and how I express myself on a level so deep that I often have a hard time articulating it just in plain language. I often write a song and then realize only a little bit later on what it's actually about. Like I was writing and I thought it was about this thing, but later on I sort of look at the context of what my life was at the time I wrote it.
So you
I'm like,
learn
oh,
from
shit.
your own songs.
I learn about myself
That's
from my
dope.
music all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
It's a great reason to keep doing it.
Timothy mentioned a similar thing.
Yeah. That's
That he didn't know what he was writing about until he heard it later.
That's cool. That's such a. It's like I would imagine it's therapeutic.
Definitely.
As well.
Yeah. Highly therapeutic. Yeah, absolutely. And there are times when like, almost like in the case with Dear George, where like, the writing of the song was a necessary step in a healing process that needed to happen, So yeah, I mean, all that
It's therapy.
Yeah. All that is why I do it so frequently.
Yeah.
And
I mention a lot of times that I think songwriters are very mystical. There's like a mystic quality about that.
Yeah.
I'm not a songwriter. I'm a producer that works with songwriters. And I honestly can't do anything without them. So it's kind of cool. A little jealous.
No worries, man. I a little bit, maybe there is a mysticism to it in the sense that there's like subconscious elements of myself expressing themselves sometimes when I don't
Tapping
realize
into
it,
something. Yeah.
There's also like a whole side of things though that I kind of don't really, there's like this mysticism about songwriters. It's like when I write a song, it's not until the muse has spoken to me, like, someone has reached down from like the art,
Right.
the art
A
plane
third eye pops
has-
out from my trucker
and
hat.
like some people truly, but some people no, for real though. I've met several very talented artists who think that they are spoken to by something when they write a song, and
I
like,
kind of get that way.
do you really?
Like not spoken to.
God,
Well,
I want to see this happen.
I did this thing. I did this thing called Cicada Madness.
Okay.
And it kind of, I felt like I picked this
Were there
idea
colors in
out
it?
of the ether.
Mm.
Not that like someone told it to me, but like it was sort of like, this is here for you. You can take it if you want.
Right.
And because I had a traumatic experience with cicadas when I was younger, I felt like it was for me.
Sure.
So I just said, I'm going to do it. It was like just like I snapped my fingers and I was like, I'm going to do this Cicada Madness rock opera. And so
oh, cool, man.
That's really
that
cool.
that was the experience. Yeah, it was.
Right on.
Unfortunately, I don't write as much because it's more of the like I have to have that feeling.
But you feel that there was like an external force getting you to write this music?
It was sort of like my destiny. Like I had to do that.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I had to do it. Like I had no option. The option to not do it felt terrible.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Wow.
Were you smoking pot at the time?
No, not at the time actually, which is surprising. But this was a totally clear-headed.
Yeah.
Just like
no, and look,
I have to do this.
I respect your views, and obviously you're the only you, and
It's
so
a different-
you're the only one who can interpret the things that happen to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess from my perspective, I would see that more as an exercise, because I'm not sure I've had an experience on the level of urgency that you've had, but.
Okay.
I would interpret an experience like that, several of which I've had, as there being sort of like like underlying emotions that I'm not ready to really necessarily process entirely through language.
Wow.
That are pushing through, right?
So you're writing
that
your music.
could actually kind of resonates with me a bit. Yeah.
It sounds very literary to me.
Yeah, well, I'm an English major,
Yeah.
and a lot of my music is literary.
It sounds like book writing the way you do this.
Sure,
in a sense.
I think it's how all art is made, man.
Yeah.
Like I think, I think things happen to us. They, make us complicated, and we desire to relay that to
That's
people.
awesome.
You know?
So you're busy.
Yes.
You have a family,
I do.
and you seem like you're a good dad.
Oh, wow. I try.
Yeah.
Does anyone really feel like a good
There's been no revolution in the household, so I would
yeah.
assume
Well,
that they like you.
So.
How
Just
do
wait, yeah.
How do you balance that? How do you balance that? You asked me the same question.
I don't know
on your
man.
podcast.
I don't. I feel like I'm not balancing it right now.
Do they like
man.
you? Do they? Are
My
they
kids?
Good? Yeah, everybody. Are they happy with Harry?
I think my kids love me. I think my wife is happy. Sometimes, especially this summer, man, I feel like I'm taking a lot. So I guess maybe that's how I balance it. I really try to be cognizant of how much I'm taking. I think when you're not cognizant of that, that's when you run into problems with your relationships. You know. But
is it okay to get that deep? Can I ask?
Totally.
Are there a lot of conversations about this at
no,
as you're brushing your teeth before you hit in the sack? Or?
they're all started by me. I'm always like, is it cool if I do this thing that someone's asking me to do? Like, and then B, I'm not, it's not too much, right? I don't want to be putting too much on you. Right. And, my wife is incredibly patient and supportive, and, she loves being a mom. And I love being a dad. But she loves being a mom to the point where, it seems like it's cool that she can put the kids to bed, a certain number of nights. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on her about that. And I'm certainly definitely encouraging her also to spend some time on herself and her self-care and go out, and I'll put the kids to bed this time, but it's, because
you know what it's like. You're locking yourself in a room.
It's hard as
You're
shit,
working with
dude.
people. It's a lot to put an album together, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's taxing.
So the conversations have happened over time. We've been married for 8 years this year.
Yeah.
And at times there's been tense over that.
Sure.
But I think we've ironed it out a
Is
little
she a fan of your music?
Yes, she is.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That helps a little bit.
Yes. So she likes what I'm doing.
I would say. Cool.
There's a lot in there. It's like I know for me, like the thought of having to do music the way that I want to, and like having a family as well, would be difficult for me.
Sure.
So kudos to you, and you as well for like making that happen.
Well,
it's
dude,
so
it's a
crazy
challenge.
to me.
It
It's
is.
like,
Well, but for
yeah.
me, I think having a family is like one of the most motivating things keeping me making music at this point. You know what I mean? Like passing my music down to my kids when I'm gone is like a massive motivating thing.
That's good.
Me, you know?
Yeah, it's part of culture, right? It's passing
absolutely.
on something rich to your kids. It's like you have money to pass on to them. You have stories to pass on to them, and then you have art to pass on to them. And that's something that I've really enjoyed passing on to my kids. Is something in the art world. And just no, you go ahead.
It's something that our parents have that the older generation has never been able to pass on it to quite this extent before, right? Like think about how well documented our lives are now in every single way.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that includes the music that we make, right? Handing that down is like our kids are going to know us as human beings more completely than any generation has ever.
I think
been able to
albums
before.
are kind of like snapshots
Yeah.
of our lives.
Yeah.
They're like pictures, you know, for our kids and for people that follow. So one last question. Can I throw another one out there?
Yeah,
all right.
by all means. Huh.
Politics in music.
Really?
Oh, my.
Oh, interesting. I did not
right.
think you were going to go there.
I know
Right.
Harry a little bit, and it's a volatile time,
Oh my!
and you are responsible in front of a bunch of younglings.
Yeah.
You know, how do you equate the value of politics in your music? Are you apolitical? Are you political? Some people don't like to blend the two. Tell me about it.
My politics have only. I think that I've only started making increasingly political music recently. You know, so when Trump was elected, I put out a pretty explicitly.
Well, why
political
wouldn't
album. Right. And since then, it's factored into my music a little bit more. I still define my music as like largely romantic though, and not necessarily like
Nostalgia, romance.
it's not really like protest songs. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It's not like explicitly political music. It's politics affects it, but not in a totally explicit way.
Do you think music is a great way to express political sentiment?
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean,
for
Rage
sure.
Against the Machine.
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine. You know, you think back to like all the music that was made, you know, protest songs in like the
Buffalo,
60s.
Buffalo Springfield, right?
Right.
Going back a bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And then you think
kids are
about
like,
hip
"What is
hop,
that?"
man. Hip hop is a music that was made out of protest, right?
Correct,
People
yeah.
were literally taking,
that's true.
people didn't have instruments. And so they were taking the things that they did have, which was access to turntables in the Bronx because they were working in turntable repairs spots.
Wow,
And
really?
they were like,
Wow.
and then they turned that into music. They
That's
they
amazing.
crafted the art of DJing. So hip hop is literally a music that was like made out of being broke, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna listen to.
Oh wait, before we.
Oh, you got one? You got something else?
Well, before we
Right.
listen to this last song, we gotta try out the new segment called
Oh.
Strange Candy.
We have strange candy.
Strange candy.
So welcome everybody. This is our new segment. We
see
did,
how long it lasts.
We did candy ASMR.
Yeah.
A little bit ago.
What these are.
But we just found that
These
there's a lot of
things.
crazy fucking candy out there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Sour bursting crawlers.
They burst?
Yeah.
Apparently.
So just so y'all know, when you visit any store, there's a candy section.
You don't have to eat.
You
one
know,
of these
it's like
if
the
you
beer
don't want
cave,
to.
except it's candy.
You
For
might know
those-
this from having been in a fucking store.
Yeah, that's right. Many of us have been there, especially
I don't know about this.
in Walmart in the middle of the night. And there's definitely the
anybody
lower
wants to-
class candy section, and then there's the upper class candy section. And we find strange candies in the lower class candy section.
Sure.
How
This is
strange
not-
are these on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean,
It doesn't look all that strange to me, you know?
yeah.
like-
sour bursting crawlers. It looks like it could contain something that would give you cancer.
It definitely probably does.
Let's give it a shot.
All right, here we go.
no, this is.
And here we
Bon
go.
appetit,
We're gonna
everybody.
do the candy ASMR if you want. We can.
Whatever you want. Yeah, sure.
Oh, they do burst.
I'm going to pop it in.
It's
I'm going to pop
bursting.
it all the way in.
Pop it in.
Oh my god, this is bursting.
It did burst. Yeah.
I bet they all taste the exact same, even though they're different colors. Oh my gosh,
That is,
that's definitely cheap tasting.
Yeah.
now here's
It tastes blue.
here's the scary part.
Tastes blue.
Here's the scary part, guys.
Okay. Is there?
I don't know.
You gonna read the chemical?
This from the vine is definitely like super crazy. Like we're just all over the joint and having a blast. Oh God!
Read the
4 pieces.
Oh,
what
God.
does it
You're
give
about to
you?
tell me how many fucking calories in this?
Yeah, I
No,
think
I'm
so.
going to tell you how many sugars are in this.
Okay.
We only had 1 piece, which is all I'm going to be having.
Probably.
4 pieces is 36% of your daily sugar intake. If you eat this entire bag
You
in
will
one,
fucking die.
it's 96%. 96% of your sugar
They
intake.
actually they have medical advice in the back of the bag.
No, they don't.
really?
No,
Stop.
I'm just.
Oh,
joking.
okay. This one
Anyway.
comes with a Surgeon General's warning.
Yeah, it's like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So that was strange candy.
strange and
But
dead.
I also
We're going to introduce a strange candy for the next 4 episodes because
we should try it. But
we bought them and I'm going to put them on a shelf. They probably last through the next nuclear war.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
before we listen to this last song, I do want to tie it back to the Ithaca
Okay.
music scene and the artists here.
Mm-hmm.
What message would you give to young artists who want to do something in the music scene here in Ithaca?
I would say to not, I think I'm going to take it back to this idea of venues that we've been talking about. And I think that I would say, make your own venues.
I like
you
that.
know, and perform however you can. And just try to make human connections with people, because I truly believe that is really the only way to grow yourself as an artist, is to play and talk to people after your set and during your set. And I mean, I think that that's it. So if there's not going to be a place in Ithaca to do that, you have to make it. That's your only option, really.
yeah, it's funny. New Vine's looking to do something like that someday.
To just
Hannah, we've talked about it, and then I heard about TJ doing it. But
start a venue, you mean?
Start a
Or-
venue.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, we
well, you
thought
kind of
about
already
doing it, yeah.
have. You have the Live from the Vine stuff.
Well, we
and-
love it here, but something closer in the middle of town. It's a dream at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, totally.
Make
That's
it a
cool.
music club kind of a thing. But
No, man, I think that would be great. And and the other thing is, just to get hooked up with people like New Vine, because like it's
Yeah.
artist development, and you're absolutely right. Artist development
There you
is completely essential.
Yeah.
Right. And you need to, as a local indie artist, you need to rely on the people that are extending a hand to help out. It's really important.
You nailed it on the head there with that message. And to follow up, artist development really is like, it's so lost, I feel, these days. It's and New Vine, providing that and providing that artist development. You can do your own development, of course, and like you keep writing, and working on yourself, but to have a community where like
of resources
people are supporting
and people
you,
providing
and,
that.
Yeah, that's super important.
Help just a little something to get that process going, that journey going.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's awesome.
Amen. Wow,
This has been fun.
is that it? Are we?
Were those edibles in disguise?
Heavily
No.
wrapped.
I'm just feeling a little warm down in the belly.
I feel like we could keep talking, but
Yeah.
I also feel like we've actually covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we have.
I feel
It's been good.
I'm good with it.
So we have Molly, the Conqueror of Hearts,
Yes, indeed.
and we're gonna hit the play button. Ready?
Everybody wakes up, 'cause here comes Molly, the conqueror of hearts. And they all shut up, 'cause they've been waiting. She's about to start, and I know they're all in love with her. And I guess that's where she gets the nerve. He don't care who she was with before. He can't ignore her anymore. He'd throw it all away for one night, for one night. He's just a little bleeding heart. She tears the boys like hell apart. He'd throw it all away for one night with Molly, the conqueror of hearts.
Dude, it's bringing me back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why I picked this one.
Yeah, it's legit.
This is off his latest release.
Yeah.
Harry, thanks for being here, man.
This is my pleasure.
There's a whole lot of layers to you. We learned a lot about you today. We hope you enjoyed it, and give us a last plug for yourself and any last words.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Harry Nichols, and I am on all the streaming services. If you just search Harry Nichols, you can find me on all the social at Harry Nichols Music. And I'm putting out an album. I'm putting out a full length in October. So if you want to get on board with that, I'm going to start telling that story pretty soon. And
awesome.
Just give me a quick follow.
All right, this is New Vine, and we are off the Vine. No, actually from the Vine.
From the Vine.
Actually, I have to mention that.
Yeah.
Off the Vine is coming up in September 17th. If you guys haven't checked it out, please buy tickets. They're still early bird, $20.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a deal. We have several vendors. We have South Hill Cider, and we have Lucky Hair Brewing coming out.
Hell yeah.
And we have Sound on Sound doing sound, so we got a cool stage coming out. It's going to be sounding great. Lights are going to be awesome. And it's at Tremont State Park. Thank you for coming.
We got a cabin.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
all right.
It's going to be fun.
Oh, It's going to be posh, man, and it's going to be great. And you guys can stay overnight if you want to. We're going to have security. It's going to be family friendly, so please come on out. And also subscribe to this podcast on Apple and also on Spotify, and as well on YouTube if you watch it there, because I think a lot of people tend to watch it.
Yeah, we've had
Instead
quite
of
a few
listen.
viewers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm old school podcast, but if you guys want to watch it, check it out on YouTube. Thanks for watching.